His Queen, Korsova Shifters. Written by Anna Delray. Narrated by Kirsten Braddock. Prologue. 27 years ago. "What have you done?" Demi jumped with fright at the angry sound of Valdemir's voice carrying through the castle. He dropped the play sword on the floor of his bedroom with the clunk of wood against stone and ran in the direction of the shout. It sounded like it came from farther down the hall of the children's wing. He pumped his scrawny legs for speed as he rushed up the spiraled stone steps. Demi disdained the wooden handrail and conquered the steps with an ease born of youth. He turned down the passage and continued running. He heard Valdemir's voice again, laced with anger, but the words weren't as distinct. He nodded to the guard nearby as he veered through a set of tall wooden doors that had been propped open. He skidded to a halt at the sight before him. Valdemir held his 6-year-old daughter by the lapels of her robe and was shaking her. "Answer me, Nakia," he demanded. Demi's mouth dropped open with shock. In the 4 years he had lived at Castle Dragonescu, he'd never heard the master raise his voice, nor witnessed any acts of violence. Nakia's expression remained serene. The only indication of her emotions was the glittering anger in her brown eyes. "I disposed of the wench, Papa." She spoke with a calm belying her tender years. Valdemir growled with rage and thrust the girl away from him. Even in his anger, he was careful to make sure she wouldn't fall before he released her. Demi noticed. He shook his head as he ran fingers through his thinning brown-gray strands of hair. "Why would you send away your mother?" Nakia's eyes darkened, and she spat out, "Stepmother." Valdemir sighed, and the flush of anger seemed to leave his cheeks slowly. His enraged expression changed to one of bewilderment. "She was kindness itself to you. Why?" Nakia's lips compressed, and she looked pointedly at the wall. Her mouth curled when she saw Demi in the doorway. "Ask your spy, Papa. Perhaps he knows." Valdemir whirled around, his stance wary. His stiff posture relaxed when he saw Demi. He turned away from his daughter and walked toward Demi. Over his shoulder he said, "This is not finished, Nakia. You are confined to your rooms." Demi winced as Nakia shrieked her outrage and stamped her foot. Her wild auburn hair flew around her face in a thick cloud, giving her the appearance of wearing a halo of blood. As Valdemir drew near, Demi turned his attention from the girl and bowed to his king. "What troubles you, sire?" Valdemir placed his hand on Demi's shoulder. "Walk with me, Nicodemus." Demi fell in step beside the older man, pausing with him when the king stopped to speak with the guard. He waited silently while Valdemir passed along instructions not to allow Nakia to leave her quarters. Once more they began walking. Demi wanted to ask again, but he didn't. He knew his king would speak when he was ready. "You were Nakia's age when you came to the castle, weren't you?" "Yes, sire." Valdemir shook his head. "You have proven yourself a faithful companion. You're like a son to me." "Thank you, sire." Demi swallowed heavily, understanding what a compliment that was, in light of both of Valdemir's sons dying, one in the womb, and the other when he was but a few days old. Demi followed the king into his chambers. He stood silently while Valdemir paced. "What's happened?" he asked again, after a long silence. With a heavy sigh, Valdemir dropped into a massive wooden chair. "Katrine has fled. She didn't say much in her note, only that she couldn't live in fear." "Nakia," Demi whispered under his breath. God's truth, the young girl frightened him sometimes, too, with her terrible rages and dark looks. "What did she do?" he asked in a louder tone. Valdemir shrugged. "She will not say, and Katrine didn't explain. I don't understand it, Nicodemus. Nakia was a toddler when I married Katrine, yet she refused to accept her from the beginning. When Julian was born, she became uncontrollable."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?